What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. This is In Season with Casper. Appreciate y'all for stopping in and checking out the channel. So today was the last day of Olympic track and field and it did not disappoint. Now to start, we had the women's 100-meter hurdles. That was won by Messiah Russell. She ended up getting gold. She looked great in that race, so shout out to her. And then also we had the men's 5,000. Jakob Ingebrigtsen got gold in that, but Grant Fisher from the U.S. was able to secure a third place spot in that. And I believe he got gold in both the 5K and the 10K. Look, the U.S. distance team this year did very good in all their races, so it was just nice to see distance step up. I think they medaled in almost every distance race except the 800, and Bryce Howell ended up getting fourth in that, and I believe he set an American record with that 800. But the event I want to talk about in this video is both the men's and women's 4x4, which were both great races in their own right. Now, the men's team was a little bit tighter, and I will say, if it was a couple meters left on that race, I'm not sure if Team USA would have won, because Botswana and Leslie Tobogo were literally right there on them, pushing the race. And then, of course, on the women's side, they won as well, but they just absolutely dominated the race. From pretty much the beginning, Shamir Little had a great first leg, and then you handed off to Sydney McLaughlin, and it was pretty much over from there. So, just jumping into both of these. So, to start off, the men had Chris Bailey to, look, I'm trying to remember, Chris Bailey to Vernon Norwood to Bryce Deadman to Rye Benjamin. And then for the ladies, they had Shamir Little to Sydney McLaughlin to Gabby Douglas, which was a surprise, and then to Alexis Holmes. Now, both teams, like I mentioned, they won. Both teams ran a #2 all-time time. The men ran an Olympic record, and the women broke an American record. The men ran 2:54.43, and the women ran 3:15.27. And I believe both teams were like a 10th off from breaking the world record, which is just absolutely crazy in itself. Now, for the men's team, I'm not sure what else they really could have done on that team to have pushed for that world record. I mean, they were all rolling. And then for the women's side, I mean, they were just so far out ahead. I think if they had a team to push them, they might have actually been able to secure that world record. But like I mentioned, both races were absolutely crazy. And look, just getting into these splits, like I mentioned. So for the ladies, Shamir Little, 49.48. Sydney McLaughlin ran a 47.71. And I believe that's like a top 5 fastest split, if not like top 3 fastest split all time. Gabby ran a 49.3, and then Alexis Holmes ran a 48.78. And like I said, like I mentioned, if they had somebody to push them, maybe like Gabby or Alexis, if they had somebody to push them, then they might have been able to get the world record. Like, I'm going to put up a picture of what it looked like when Sydney had the baton. The lead was absolutely ridiculous. Like, just like I said, off Shamir going into Sydney, they weren't catching Team USA women, and they were just coasting pretty much the rest of the race. And then for the men, the splits were for Chris Bailey, 44.5. Vernon Norwood ran another 43. This was a 43.3. Bryce Deadman ran a 43.5. And then Rye ran a 43.13. And look, like I said, Vernon ran another 43 because he ran 43 in prelims as well, after Quincy Wilson to actually get Team USA back into the race. But like I said, I know for the men, they were 0.14 off of the world record. So they were all rolling. They looked really good today. Now, I do want to shout out Leslie Tobogo, because Leslie Tobogo of Botswana, if you don't know, he absolutely rolled on the 400. He ran a 43.03, I believe was his time. And like I mentioned earlier, he almost won them the 4x4. Like, Botswana looked very good in this race. All of their legs ran very well as well. And if you had like one bad leg on Team USA, it probably would have cost them the 4x4, and they would have been an upset. But he ran an absolutely great race. And look, Tobogo right now is absolutely in tip-top shape. I mean, he competed in the 100 and the 200, and then still had legs to run in two rounds of the 4x4, because he ran in prelims as well, and he ran first leg in prelims for the 4x4, and then they moved him to anchor for this one. But like I mentioned, he's just absolutely rolling right now. He's had a great Olympics. Like I mentioned, it's several different rounds of the 100, 200, and then the 4x4, and he was absolutely dominating in everything that he did. So he looked really good. Now, I know he didn't win the 100, but still, he made it to finals. He was competing, and he was there just competing as best as he could. So it'll be interesting to see, especially from Leslie Tobogo, how he does over these next couple of years, especially leading up to LA for the Olympics in 2028. Of course, we'll have some world championships before then, so we'll be able to see him a couple of times before that. But yeah, he's just, I'm very interested to see his future, just as he progresses in track and field. But yeah, just getting back to Team USA in both of these relays, just absolutely crazy. Yeah, of course, it's always nice to see Sydney McLaughlin run an open 400 because I feel like she could push that world record in the open 400 if she really wanted to. As y'all see, she kills the 400 hurdles every time she runs them, so I'm sure she could in the 400 meter open. But let me know your thoughts on the relays if you were able to watch them. How did you feel Team USA did? And look, I'm not gonna lie, when they put out the women's lineup, I was a little confused why Sydney was running second leg instead of anchor, but it worked out really well, especially because Shamir Little ran sub 50 on her open first leg. So it worked out for them, but it was curious at first just to see. I was like, I don't know about that. But so that was basically the 4x4s. And I do want to give a quick shout out to Quincy Wilson because not only was he the youngest male to participate in the Olympics for Team USA, but he's also the youngest medalist for Team USA on the male side, as he did secure gold in the 4x4 because he did run on the prelim. So shout out to him because that's pretty dope to be that young and still have a gold medal. But overall, that is all I have for y'all. Like I said, let me know how y'all felt about this relay or both relays. What did you think about them? Would you have changed the order or anything? What did you think? What are your thoughts? But as always, I appreciate y'all for stopping in, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.